From the very beginning, God has established the pattern of going and returning, labor and recreation, calling us together and sending us out. We do well to remember that God commands that we step away, at least weekly, from the world's many, many demands on our time and talents. As viewers of our last season already know, it's hard for me to sit still sometimes. And the good news is that when you practice resting on the way of love, it doesn't mean that you have to sit quietly, although that's as good a spiritual practice as any other. Sometimes resting looks like hiking, like enjoying God's glorious creation, like serving people who themselves just might need a rest. I visited the Right Reverend Audrey Scanlon, Bishop of Central Pennsylvania, who taught me what that looks like in her diocese, home to a large stretch of the Appalachian Trail. Bishop Scanlon, we're here in one of the most beautiful places on earth. Tell me about where we're standing right now.
We are right now in the southernmost part of what to me is a very large diocese, but for people in the Midwest and further west, it's not that big a deal. We're at a little church called Calvary Chapel, which has about 10 people on a Sunday, on a good Sunday.
Hey, but I bet they're doing some good work.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're also about 500 feet from the Appalachian Trail.
Now that's really interesting. Yeah. Today we got to do some hiking. You know, I grew up hiking, kind of down in the blufflands around the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And I got out of it and, you know, work takes over and life takes over. And, you know, driving up here, I felt my blood pressure like drop. And not dangerously low, but enough that I felt calm. And I'm starting to think part of that was when we were out on the trail especially, I had no cell service.
So that didn't freak you out?
It freaked me out for a little bit, but yeah, I did get a notification that I was missing a meeting. But other than that, I felt pretty good about it. This episode is all about rest. How do you rest? And how do you recommend other people rest?
Well, I am one of those A+ type personalities, right? Sitting down for more than 10 minutes is a foreign concept. But getting away, turning off the screens, getting away from the office, getting away even from home where there's always something to do, right?
Especially now that so many of us are working from home.
Right.
Yeah.
Being outside, being in nature, being in the middle of the woods is a gift to me. And climbing a mountain doesn't sound like it would be restful. And actually, you and I had a very easy, flat 4-mile hike today. That was...
Well, don't tell everyone how easy it was.
That was nothing. Recently, I've started doing solo backpacking.
Really?
Going out for 4 or 5 days at a time. And there is something amazing about having everything you need in a pack.
What
Food,
a foreign concept.
Shelter on your back,
yeah.
And you're just out there in God's creation.
Is there a spiritual component to it for you? I mean, let me give you some background. When I go hiking, you know, I drive out, do a 3-mile out and back. I've got my headphones in the whole time. I've downloaded all the podcasts. You know, today was different because I didn't bring any of that. I was kind of alone with my thoughts for a little while.
So that's part of it. I've tried to slow down a little bit. I tend to be a pretty focused and driven person. So when I sit down and I plan my itinerary and I want to get so many miles in a day, I need to learn how to just dial that down, right? I stop and I look at like the shape of wildflowers.
Sure.
The symmetry in nature is amazing. When you and I were hiking this morning, a deer crossed our path. That was so cool.
Out of nowhere.
I mean, God is present all around us.
I think there's such a lesson in that too, that all of this goes on despite our busy lives. So, you know, we're sitting in offices or in your case in churches, driving, crisscrossing all the rest, and life goes on. It's like an act of faith to be able to stop and say the world is not going to fall apart. That, I guess, is my message for a lot of the faithful. To stop for a second is an act of faith.
There is a thing about hiking on the Appalachian Trail where people form communities. They call them tramilies for trail families.
That's funny.
And I think a lot about that because when I go out hiking, I go by myself often, but hiking is a communal sport, much like Christianity is. I always say to people, you know, Christianity is a team sport.
It's very hard to do it alone.
You can have faith in God and faith in Jesus and a personal relationship with Christ, but one of the things that we talk about a lot in the church is being together, being the body. It's interesting to me that this avocation of mine, this hiking thing that I love to do, is really community-based.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about the Appalachian Camino that you all did a couple years
Yes,
ago.
so it was 3 years ago already. I
can't
can't
believe
believe
it.
that. Well, I said to one of my canons, wouldn't it be fun if we just like went hiking for a few days?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to turn into shuttle buses, camping
Tents,
in church
yeah.
lawns, people signing up for potlucks, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think about 25 of us that did the whole hike. So it was about an 80-mile hike over the course of a week. But we gathered every morning for prayer, and I blessed the boots of every hiker, and then we would set off for the day, having formed an intention.
Yeah.
It's just opening our hearts to the experience. And then at night, we came back together. The people from whatever church we were staying at had cooked a beautiful meal for us. We had Eucharist at the altar, and then we slept in tents on church lawns.
Yeah, just all the way along the trail.
Awesome.
There's rest that is just so central to that recreation and the feeling, I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm not doing this like to go accomplish some set of goals that I set at the beginning of the year, and those are important. But to be able to just stop and enjoy and see the world that's going on around you, I mean, it's integral.
One of the things for me was learning how to receive the hospitality.
It's hard.
We're so used to doling it out.
Yeah.
Like even today, we offered food for thru hikers.
Yeah.
We're great at giving hospitality. It's a really different deal to receive it.
Reminds me of like that awkwardness of like Monday, Thursday, the foot washing.
Yes,
And everyone
yes.
wants, weirdly, everyone wants to go up and be, I'll wash the feet, I'll wash the
Yep.
feet. I mean, even St. Peter says, no, not me. Like, I'll do you. Like, I got you. And what a gift it is to receive it, you know?
Yeah.
One of the things we're really talking more about is the particular ministries of a place. Central Pennsylvania, like you have this Appalachian Trail, you have this glorious natural beauty surrounding you. Our churches are where they are. And so what I love about what we did today is we're in a fairly heavily wooded place, a mile from the Appalachian Trail. And the thought process wasn't, let's start a hospital or let's start a daycare right here, but it's, here's a ministry opportunity where you have thousands of people all year round walking through the backyard. And, you know, God bless them. They're in some rough shape by the time they get to the halfway point. And for you to offer that hospitality without any strings attached, like that's very Christ-like to me. And I hope people can see that and say, rather than coming up with some idea I cut out of a whole cloth, who is my neighbor? And what y'all have done here is say, but those are my neighbors and I'm going to serve them.
That's one of the things that we're working on is building that culture of experimentation and saying, you know what, go try it. If it doesn't work, that's what experiments are about.
That's right.
We don't know how the outcome will go.
St. Augustine wrote of God, our hearts are restless until they find their rest in thee. He tells us that one of the greatest spiritual works we can do is to trust less in ourselves and more in God's loving kindness. I got a taste of that in central Pennsylvania. Disconnected from my phone and inbox, reconnected with God's faithful in creation. Away from pings and emails, and closer to birdsong and those Episcopalians serving God and neighbor in their own backyards. Diving ever deeper into a world infused with God's divinity. At Compline, we pray that we who are wearied by the changes and chances of this life may rest in God's eternal changelessness. I'm working on that, thanks to these folks, and I hope you will too.